All right, we have Coach Brennan here. He'll have a quick statement, then feel free to ask questions. Coach?
Good to see everybody. What an awesome ending for this team in CEFCU Stadium. I think, like, if you could write a script better than fourth down, Cade Hall and Junior Fehoko meeting at the quarterback, which is what they've done so many times in their career here, I don't know that you could ask for a better ending for their careers in CEFCU Stadium. Really proud of our team. I thought the staff did a great job preparing the team this week. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. It's always hard-fought against Hawaii. We have had, I think back to 2018, we were 1 whatever that year, and we went to 5 overtimes with Hawaii here, and they won 10 that year, I think. And so we just have this history of epic battles with them. It's particularly special for me because of my relationship with Coach Tomey, and that we get to keep that trophy in the building for another year. That means a lot to me. But really just seeing those guys leave that field and get to feel great about how it ended in CEFCU. I don't know the last time we went undefeated at home, but we did it this year, and that is very, very special, right? Like, you're trying to build some tradition and some culture, and you're building your own history, and to be able to finish it that way is really, really special. And so it's just awesome to see how hard everybody played and the plays we made, and just to see the smiles and the excitement and the enthusiasm in the locker room. There's nothing like a college football locker room after a win. Nothing in the world. It's magical. So what a special day for those seniors. All those guys have been just awesome players for us and have been through just all of it. They've been through really hard times. I think, they chose us. A lot of those guys chose us coming out of 2017. Right, when we were 2 and whatever, and then they endured 1-11, right, and then obviously it's gotten a little bit better since then. But it's pretty special. The work, the time, the effort, just the belief, the buy-in is really special, really special. I love those seniors. I want to miss them all dearly. There's so much life there with those guys. 5 or 6 years of life, and so. Pretty special day.
First time we've gone 6-0 at home since 1978.
Okay, that's cool. We're all about changing history. Let's go. It's good.
On Tuesday, you shared a very fun, or maybe not for you fun, but interesting story about Dick Tomey coming down the tunnel, everything that happened there. What do you think he would say to you after this game against Hawaii?
That's a good question. He would be excited for me. And he would be excited about the physicality and the defense and the run game. That's what he would be. And he would also be excited about the special teams, because their special teams were super clean tonight, which they hadn't been clean the previous 2 weeks, right? Scott White's a fantastic coach and did a great job, and Fred Giudici of just getting our guys ready to play and execute at a high level against a dangerous team. Both the returners are fantastic. And so that was really, really good.
Brent, can you talk about the chemistry that's developed between your quarterback and Cooks? The last 6 games, they look like they're practically unstoppable.
Well, they're roommates, so they should have a leg up in terms of that. But no, it's been a lot of fun. Elijah Cooks has been such a great addition to our program. And he is having a lot of fun playing football. And Chevin's such a good player that he gives him those opportunities to play those vertical balls. And you can see the chemistry on, I think, that first touchdown, right? It's back shoulder. Elijah kind of got pushed for width at the line of scrimmage. And you see how they keep connecting, and that continues to grow and accelerate each week. It's pretty exciting, or it's really exciting. And Elijah's just, he's played a ton of college football, but he's a hyper competitor, and so is Chevin. So I think they respect that about each other. So there are moments where it's kind of like the fourth down play, right? We went for it on 4th and 4, I think, in the fourth quarter, and he ripped a big deep ball to Elijah, and Elijah, had to cross the corner's face and push towards the safety and go play it off his feet, and that's the kind of trust they have. It's pretty cool.
So with today's win, there were still 6 penalties, but one could have been nearly costly. It was a third and 5. Fehoko had just made a tackle for loss, but then Harmon got flagged for a personal foul where one of the Hawaii players lost his helmet. So what did you see on that play from your side of the sideline?
You know, Andrew, I'm not worried about the officials. I thought there was extra on both teams right there. I thought there could have been multiple calls on that. At the very least, I thought it was going to offset, but it didn't, and it didn't go our way. But then our defense answered the call. Our defense responded, right? That was an automatic first down. 15 yards is a big play, and our defense responded, which was awesome, and stopped them on 4th down with the big sack. So that's what I was most excited about. You're not going to play a football game without penalties. Never in the history of the game.
Brent,
I'd like to. No, let me say that. That'd be cool if we could pull that off. I would really like that.
the drive in the middle of the fourth quarter, we called 3 timeouts during that drive, and what was the process of that? Was that like the Jagger drive that you guys?
That's how we felt. Like we had to get points there, and so we had to make. So it's just, sometimes when you're in flow, like you can just call plays and it just rolls and everything's kind of smooth. But what they were doing was like 2 very different defenses. And so we kind of had to talk about that because we knew we wanted to keep running the ball, and that had been good for us all game. But we also knew we had to move the chains, right? So we're like, I think I called them before the 4th and 4 play, right? And I was like, this is kind of a big play in the game. And not just if we didn't get it, it would have given us field position, right? Or would have given them field position. I don't know if it was at the 35 or right? Something like that? Yeah, so they would have been like, they would have been closer to the end zone. So like that part of it. And I think I was confident in our offense. So I wasn't necessarily worried about having to have the timeouts at the end of the game. Like you'd always like to save them, but I felt in that moment it was more important that we found a way to convert, and we got in the right call and we got in the right formation. And we've had a bunch of funny stuff with some guys out and injured, and so some of those guys, if there's any uncertainty, I'm like, well, let's talk about it, make sure it's clean.
Coach, at the beginning of the year, I talked to you about Kyrie, and I think at the end of your quote, you said that you're excited to see how he progresses. Now that we're at the end of the year, he had a big game today, 148 yards on 24 attempts. I mean, how have you seen him progress over this
I think
year?
that's who he can be. I think he can be that every week. I think he can be a 100-plus yard guy every week. He's really, really powerful. He's got great vision. We got a little continuity with our O-line today, and that was nice. And when we can do that, it keeps people off balance. It keeps them off of Chevin. It keeps our defense off the field. Like it's a good way for us to play some complementary football. And so it's just awesome to see Kyrie do that, just with that physicality and those, I don't know how many no gain or lost yardage runs he had today out of those 24, but I would say not many. Most of those kind of pushed or spilled for 3 to 30. It's just awesome to see him get that confidence, and Kyrie's a player that's been here a long time, right? He's been here a long time, and he's been through a lot, and he's just a super hard worker, and like this is really, really important to him. He's a Bay Area kid, and it's awesome to see him have that day here, in the last game of the season in CEFCU.
You mentioned Caden Jr., how they met at the quarterback in that last drive there. It was kind of a signature drive, and the defense kind of had tough last 2 or 3 games, and but you see him pull through and whatnot. I mean, what were you feeling? What was that about there?
I was so happy. I think everybody all week was really emotional because of what those guys have meant to our program, and also, those guys are the leaders of our team. So much of our team goes the way we go in the defensive front, and there's no question that's led by Cade Hall. There's no question. Where Junior is a little bit more of like the emotional leader, right? You see him, after a sack and just like his that part of it. He's kind of that play with his hair on fire type of guy, and so everybody was. And there's a bunch of other guys in that group, right? Nehemiah and Kyle Harmon, who's been an incredible player here. Nehemiah Shelton and Sammy White and Ali'i, right? Ali'i's just been such a brilliant player here. And it's just really fun to see it finish that way and see those hugs and see those smiles. Like those guys are all crying in the locker room, hugging, laughing, going crazy right now. So pretty special.
Coach, you mentioned how special your players are. The chance that you get an opportunity to coach them in one more game with an upcoming bowl game. How excited are you for that time to prepare and take the squad one more time?
That's huge. That was one of our motivating things all week was, like, this team has an incredibly positive, like, culture and brotherhood. Like, it is incredibly real. You know, some of you have been around them a lot, and you have a sense of that. That's not just something we say. I think every program's like, oh, we're a family. It's not like that. Here, that is real, and that's what we hang our hat on. And I think that's why they play for each other, and that's why they battle for each other. And so that was part of our battle cry all week was like, no, this team needs to get another 3 weeks or a month together. You know, that's like as you get towards the end of the season, especially for those seniors, the reality that this is it, that is serious, right? Yes, some of those guys are going to have a chance to play pro football, but some are not, right? And you think about you've given 4 or 5 or 6 years to this game and to this program, and know that you only have one left, like that is impactful. That is emotional. And so the fact that we get to do this a little bit longer couldn't be any better.
Coach, UH crossed midfield 7 times but scored only twice. Was there just anything schematically you felt was working well on that end of the field?
You know, they've been an explosive offense all year, right? Like their running back is incredible. Quarterback has a big arm. They got big play wide receivers. Their tight end's a good player. You saw him make that play on our sideline. That was a heck of a catch. So I thought that was great. You know, if we can, like, I don't care if they get across the 50 as long as they don't get into the end zone, you know. So I thought our defense really answered, you know, and they have played really good football all year. And so it's exciting to see them finish it that way. It really is. And just because of what the guys that are leaving today have meant to our football team, especially on that side of the ball, right? But, you know, it's not like I can say like Elijah Cooks didn't contribute today because he was fantastic and he's a senior. So, but it just, you know, if we can keep him out, that's better, right? No points gives you a better chance to win.
So Taryn Shive clearly played his last game of the season, and in the fourth quarter, he did give a variety of looks on kickoffs. The first kickoff went to the end zone, but then the second kickoff was a bouncy one that nearly got dropped by the returner, but just got returned 5 yards. So what's the decision-making process like into calling what kind of kickoff to send?
So both their returners are explosive. It's both their tailbacks. It's their young player, 24 and 31. And we didn't want the ball in their hands. We want to keep them guessing, right? So we kicked it short, forced a fair catch. We squib it, ball's on the ground, bouncing around, right? I don't think one of those kickoff returns got past the 30 today, right? So if we can make them drive a long field with our defense, we felt good about that, right? So that was where that came from. I thought Taryn played great today. It's awesome.
Brent, can you give us any clarity on what, if anything, is going on with New Mexico State? Is that off the table now that you'd play them still, or are they making other plans, or do you know?
As far as I know, we're not playing that game this year. I think it'll be built out in future scheduling somewhere, but that's up to our main man, Jeff Konya. So he's in the back. You can ask him next if you want.
Told you you're playing it.
What's that?
No one's told you you're playing it.
No.
One of the things Nehemiah said when he was up here, he said the not your man mantra. I think he said Scott White was a part of that. Was that something you were saying as well this week, and can you give more depth to what that really means?
It was started in the special teams meeting room, and so it was, you know, not my man. Like the guy I'm blocking, he's not making the tackle. The guy I'm blocking, he's not blocking the punt, right? So not my man. So it was kind of a fun thing that echoed throughout the team all week. It was cool.
All right. Thank you, Coach.